team, I hope you're all well. This is a really random video that I am just kind of randomly throwing together on a Saturday night. Whether or not it takes me just one evening, I'm not sure, but this has come about because of 3 different things. So in February, I did pull the try a chapter prompt on my TBR. This is not that video. A different video is being done for that, but it's inspired this video. The second thing is that I've been putting together a spreadsheet of all my sub-box books so that I can keep an eye on them, see what's coming in, see what I'm keeping up with. And I am very behind on my books and it's stressing me out. So I wanted to do something about it. And the third thing is that I've just DNF'd The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokshi this evening. And I'm devastated because it's such a pretty book. But it's all of those things combined together has inspired this video. I get the Fairyloot YA, Fairyloot Adult, Illumicrate, Afterlight, and also the Owlcrate Junior box. This will be surrounding just the Fairyloot YA, Adult, and Illumicrate books, but I wanted to go through and use the try a chapter tag to eliminate some of the books on this shelf because it was getting way too crowded already, as this is a new shelf. And I thought that this would be the best way to do that. I'm a pretty good judge of character in knowing whether or not I'm going to enjoy a book within the first chapter, as long as it's not like a page long. I can usually tell with writing style and things like that whether or not I'm enjoying the character and stuff. So these will be put into not DNFs, unhaul categories and keep categories. If I'm even just slightly intrigued, I'm going to keep the book. But if I am not bothered at all, whether it be the writing style or it just doesn't seem to interest me in the slightest, I'm going to unhaul it. And I do have 8 to choose from here, which is why, look at all those sprayed edges, which is why this may take me longer than just this evening to do, because there's a lot of books here and I don't know how many chapters are in, I don't know how many pages are in the chapter, the first chapter for each of these books. So let's very quickly show you what's on this list and also what box and what month it came out in, because I have done that on my spreadsheet just to keep an eye on things. I have too many books left over from 2021, never mind 2022, so we're not going to talk about that, but this is hopefully going to eliminate some of those. So the first book on here from the Fairyloot YA box, the first 3 I think from the Fairyloot YA box, we have This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed, and this is the June 2022 book. Then we do have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and this is the October 2022 box. Struggles book. And then we have Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston, and this is the December 2022 book. The reason why I don't think we're going to like this one is because it's been compared to Caraval and I did not like that book. The writing style, it's the writing style, it's always the writing style. Then we do have 2 from the adult box from Fairyloot, and we've got Spells for Forgetting by Adrian Young, and this one came out in September 2022. And then we have Emily Wilde, Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This one came out in December 2022. I've read from Heather Fawcett before and enjoyed her writing. However, I don't think I'm going to like this one because of the writing style and because of comments that Jade has made to me specifically about this one. So that's a shame, but it's what this video is for. Then we do have 3 from Illumicrate, the first one being This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. This one was the January 2022 book. I know, I've had it a while. I wasn't dumb enough to buy the second one from Fairyloot, don't worry. But yeah, I do have this one. Then I have The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean, and this one is from September 2022. And then our latest one from Illumicrate is God Killer by Hannah Kana. And this one is January 2023, so this is very much so the latest book from Illumicrate at the moment. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, I'm not sure, so I thought I would stick it on here. So those are the 8 books. So those are the 8 books that I am going to try the first chapter of and let you know my thoughts on them. I am going to start in order that I've just shown you. And start off with This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed. I have no idea what this is about, to be perfectly honest. When it came in, I hadn't heard of it. On the back it says 3 weddings, 3 funerals, 1 more chance to save them all. So it says, oh, romantic, suspenseful and utterly unforgettable. could be up my street. Alessa's gift from the gods is supposed to magnify a partner's magic, not kill every suitor she touches. Now, with only weeks left until a swarm of demons devours everything on her island home, Alessa is running out of time to find a partner and stop the invasion. When a powerful priest convinces the faithful that killing Alessa is the island's only hope, even her own soldiers try to assassinate her. Desperate to survive, Alessa hires Dante, a cynical outcast marked as a killer, to become her personal bodyguard. But as rebellion explodes outside the gates, Dante's dark secrets may be the biggest betrayal. Dante holds the key to Alessa's survival and her heart. Is he the one person who can help her master her gift, or will he destroy her once and for all? Dun dun dun! Actually, this does sound quite interesting and potentially up my street. So, for the little girls who talk too much and feel too intensely, never change, and in loving memory of one special girl, we miss you. Listen, I can talk too much and always feel too intensely, so there's that. So this first chapter is 11 pages long. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a bash and make a decision, and I will be back with my thoughts and picking the next book. Okay, so I have read the first chapter of this Vicious Grace. This is going to be a keep, honestly, and I knew it from about 2 pages in. This was very intriguing. I liked the writing style. I chuckled under my breath a couple of times. I think that the narration of the main character, Alessa, is really, really good. I like that a little, I don't want to say comedy, but the little sass that she has. This starts off the first chapter with her attending the funeral of her third husband. She's 18 years old. So basically in this world there is a deer. Essentially the gods have given certain people in this world magical powers. So there are Fontes, who are people who have different types of magic. So they've got like earth magic, water magic, fire magic, and a few other different types of magic. And then there are what are they called? Finestras. So there was a previous Finestra who was Renita, and she has now found love, and her powers went away 5 years ago when Alessa ended up becoming the new Finestra. I don't know what the reasoning behind the whole Finestra thing is, but basically a Finestra has to take on a Fonte, and if things don't work out, I think the general gist is that the Finestras always end up with this magic where if they touch someone they can die, and I think the whole point is that they find the person that will not die when touched. So Alessa is the new Finestra, and she is on her third partner, hence the 3 weddings, 3 funerals. And we're just starting out basically with her attending the funeral of Hugo, who is her latest Fonte. And her brother is also in this too, her twin brother, Adric, who sits next to her during the funeral. He's not supposed to, nobody's supposed to sit near her or touch her. But yeah, so very interesting, and it ends off the chapter with a bit of a cliffhanger, and now I want to carry on reading it, which is a good sign. But I'm really interested in this, very intrigued. I would like to know more. Very beautiful copy of this book as well. So yeah, first one down, and I'm keeping it, which is good news for me, because yay for enjoying the book. This is a YA one as well, intriguing. But bad news for space on my shelves. Because the whole point is to unhaul some of these. So next up we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I haven't heard anything about this, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard anything. Same with this Vicious Grace, actually. Hadn't heard anything about that either. So, I was born with the fever, my blood dark as night. An ancient mercurial spirit is trapped inside Elspeth Spindle's head. She calls him the Nightmare. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, she is thrust into a world of shadow and deception. Together, they embark on a dangerous quest to cure the town of Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. As As the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The nightmare is slowly, darkly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. One Dark Window is Rachel Gillig's stunning debut novel, a gothic fantasy romance about a maiden who must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom. Intriguing. However, I've just DNF'd. You're sat on it. I've just DNF'd The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, which was also a gothic romance, so doesn't bode well. Let's find out how many pages are in the first chapter. 16, quite a few. So let's get into it. Look at this, it's got a card. Let's get into it and find out my thoughts on One Dark Window. Okay, book 2 done. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I think I'm going to keep this one as well. We're obviously following a young girl called Elspeth. I've figured out that her age is around about 20. She has 2 stepsisters who, there's a 7-year age gap between them, and her stepsisters are 13. So she's about 20. She does read a bit younger with the way she acts and stuff. But regardless of that, I'm intrigued by the story. So this starts off with a flashback of when Elspeth was a bit younger, I think, and she caught the disease that's going around in Blunder, where she lives. And her aunt basically nursed her back to health. There are these people called the Destria, which are the King's Guard, and her dad used to be one. So I think what happened is he sent her away to go and live with her aunt and uncle and her cousins, and when she got the disease, so that he didn't then have to, you know, drag her in and stuff, and basically her aunt brought her back to health. A lot of people come out of the disease with magic, and she's not come out with magic, but she's come out with this nightmare that's living in her head, and talks to her on occasion. And this reminds me a little bit of Addie LaRue in that sense, and only in that sense, where she has, you know, in Addie LaRue, where she's got the devil and she makes deals with him and things like that. It's ever so slightly like that, but different, because nightmare is always there. But yeah, she goes in the first chapter, basically, obviously we get the flashback of what's happened, and then she's going visiting her father on name day, and she's with her cousin Ione. She goes to her father's house. Her father's obviously remarried because her mother passed away, and it's evil stepmother situation with 2 stepsisters. And yeah, it's very interesting. I am intrigued and keen to continue, I think, with this one. So again, gonna keep this one. I am glad I'm doing this in a sense, because I do think there's going to be a couple here that crop up that I don't think are up my street at all, and it's going to be good to get them off my shelves and get them to somebody else who is going to enjoy them. It's important, I think, to do that. So glad to keep that one. This is going to be one of the books that I think I'm going to end up unhauling, and it's Cruel Illusions by Maggie Fuston. The reason being, I think I've already mentioned it, but this is compared to Caraval. So ever since a vampire murdered her mother, Ava has been determined to get her revenge. But 10 years later, having survived foster home after foster home and without single sighting of a vampire, Ava has begun to lose hope. That is, until she stumbles across a hidden magic show where she witnesses impossible illusions. The magicians may not be the bloodsuckers she's hunting, but Ava is convinced something supernatural is afoot. When she sneaks backstage to catch them in acts they can't explain, the magicians reveal they're part of an ancient secret society that possesses true magic, and that Ava has the same power in her blood they do. If she joins them as their apprentice, they promise to give her the power she needs to avenge her mother. But there's a catch. If Ava wants to keep the magic they offer, she needs to prove she's worthy of it, and to do so she must put on the performance of her life in a sinister and dangerous competition where illusions and reality blur, and the only way out is to win or die. Caraval meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this deliciously dark YA fantasy from the author of Vampires' Hearts and Other Dead Things. The vampires intrigue me. The supernaturalness intrigues me, and so does the secret society. However, the fact that this is compared to Caraval and includes a circus does not intrigue me, and I am a bit nervous about that, I'm not going to lie. How long is the first chapter? Please don't be a long one. 11 pages. Okay, that's not too bad. So yeah, let's give this one a go. Well. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I thought I was going to hate this. I thought the writing style was going to be similar to Caraval, which is quite flowery and whimsical and, you know, prose, and it's not the type of writing I like. However, everything about this book screams that. The fact that it's compared to Caraval, everything. Never judge a book by its cover, guys, honestly. I was so wrong. Couple of things that immediately, other than the fact that I actually enjoy the writing style and I'm intrigued by the story, a couple of things that intrigued me about this and immediately drew me in. This is set in current day, which I did not expect. Similarly, she is running up to her front door, her foster parents' front door, while the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black run through her head. Sign me the fuck up, because that's one of my favourite songs of all time. Not only that, but she's wearing a worn out t-shirt that has Eagles Hotel California on it. Listen, the Eagles is one of my favourite bands. Hotel California is a tune me and my dad play back to back with no qualms whatsoever. We absolutely love that song, so sign me up. I'm here for it. We are following our main character, who is Ava. This is the third one in a row that I'm reading now, so the characters' names are a struggle. So we're following Ava. She lives with her foster mum. I don't know if there's a foster dad involved. She's got a brother, younger brother, who is, I don't know how many years younger he is than her, actually. I don't think it says. But she's got a younger brother who is called Parker, and a younger foster brother called Jacob. Parker and Jacob are very, very close, but she, although this is the best place that she's had as a foster home, she's finding it hard to let herself be happy until she's avenged her mother's death. So Deb is trying to do, her foster mum is trying to do right by her, but I do find that she is a little bit, I don't know, she is a bit ungrateful. Deb's just a very simple thing. Deb's just bought her a whole bunch of new clothes, saying that basically you're going to college in fall, and I just wondered if you might want to upgrade your wardrobe a little bit. And they are clothes, by the sounds of things, that she would wear, from what we've heard from in her head, but she's just quite ungrateful about it. And the fact that Deb suggests this as, you know, why don't we chuck out some of your old clothes, she, rather than thanking her, she goes very quick on the defensive and she's like, what's wrong with my clothes? And I just find that she's a little bit ungrateful. I feel like this will, I mean, obviously she's struggling with grief. Her father died when she was 6 years old. He was just wrong place, wrong time. He was mugged and killed, and her mother and father were magicians as well, so she grew up with this whole magician thing going on. And then her mother was killed by a vampire, obviously. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this one, very intrigued. It is a very pretty book. I am glad that it's staying on my shelves, I'm not gonna lie, but I honest to God thought that this was gonna go. So intrigued. That's a third one staying. Imagine if I ended up keeping them all. I still don't think I will, but you know, happy to be proved wrong. Okay, next, Spells for Forgetting. We are now into the the Fairyloot adult even. No more YA until we get to Illumicrate, obviously. Fairyloot adult. So Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I have previously DNF'd Fable by Adrienne Young, but only on the basis I was enjoying the book. And I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but I was getting seasick from reading the book. Please, if anybody else has had that same thing, will you let me know in the comments down below, because I feel absolutely ridiculous for saying it. But you know, when you get secondhand embarrassment from someone in a book or in a movie or in person, it was a similar thing to that. I was getting, it wasn't secondhand seasick though, because the main character wasn't seasick, it was me that was seasick. All I'm saying is that Adrienne Young did a great job of explaining how being on a boat feels like. And I have very severe seasickness, like, let me tell you. I never used to as a kid, but I do now. So, intrigued to know if I'll be able to get through this one. Oh, I remember this one. It's just coming back to me now. Emery Blackwood's life was changed forever on the eve of her high school graduation, when the love of her life, August Salt, was accused of murdering her best friend Lily. She once dreamed of running away with August, eager to escape the misty remote shores of Saoirse Island. Oh, is that Saoirse Island? Is that how you spell Saoirse? I don't know. I'm going to call it Saoirse Island. I could be wrong. And chase new dreams together. Now she is doing what her teenage self swore she never would, living a quiet existence among this tight-knit community steeped in folklore and tradition, ruled by the seasons and ancient superstitions. But when August returns after 14 years to bury his mother's ashes, Emery must confront her first love and the reason why he left so abruptly. But the town wants August gone again, and as the island begins to show signs of strange happenings, the emergence of deep betrayals and hidden promises threatens to reveal the truth behind Lily's death once and for all. Spells for Forgetting is an evocative, compelling novel of lost love and the unravelling of a small town and its many secrets. Interesting. I do remember this one, and I got quite excited when it came in as well. So I am intrigued by this one. Oh, the first chapter is from August's POV. It's only 8 pages. So let's read this one, the first chapter of Spells for Forgetting. Okay, I did double check on the pronunciation of that name, and it is Saoirse, because it's the same way you pronounce Saoirse Rowan's name, who is the American Irish actress from Little Women and other movies that I can't remember what she's in. So, Saoirse Island. Nice. I really love that name. It's such a beautiful name. Anywho, Spells for Forgetting I'm definitely keeping. To be honest, I should have known better putting this one on the list. There could have been a couple of others I could have put on instead of this one. I just entirely forgot what this was about. The first chapter doesn't give much away, to be perfectly honest. We do follow August in the first chapter, but basically it's him returning back to Saoirse Island. So he's 32 now. At 18 he did leave. We have no explanation in the first chapter of the reason why. Obviously we know because I've read the synopsis, but we have no explanation in the first chapter as to the reason why. So it explains that he left at 18. He's now going back because his mother has passed away and she wants her ashes to be buried on Saoirse Island. So he's mentioned that it's been 14 years since he's been there, so he's 32 now. It sounds like he is a college tutor maybe, or a school tutor, and it sounds like he's got a reasonable life, but he's having to go back, deal with this paperwork and deal with his mother's ashes. So that's it. That's all we've got from this. And obviously he's got a lot of demons to tackle, but I am so intrigued by this book, and I've heard really good things as well, to be perfectly honest. So I think this one probably takes first spot as far as intrigue is concerned with this pile. I just realized while I was reading this that I probably should be putting this in some sort of intrigue pile, so that at the end I can tell you how, like, a list. You know what I mean. So let me just swap-a-rooney some of these around, because that is actually way more intriguing than I assumed it would be. So, anywho, next book, we are going on to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is the last one for Fairyloot Adult. I'm getting through these a lot quicker than I thought I would, but it is late. 22:11 in the evening. I would like to finish this video off this evening, but it depends on how long these chapters are. So I reckon it says a charmingly whimsical delight. I think I'm going to hate this writing style, which is sad. But enter the world of hidden folk and discover the most whimsical, enchanting and romantic tale you'll read this year, starring the intrepid Emily Wilde. I like the way that this is written though, as like, it's almost like a movie, you know? Emily Wilde is good at many things. She's the foremost expert on the study of fairies. She is a genius scholar and a meticulous researcher who is writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore. But Emily Wilde is not good at people. She prefers the company of her books and her dog Shadow. Interesting. I am Emily Wilde. I don't have a dog called Shadow, but I do prefer books and dogs. So when she arrives in the hard scrabble village of Horansvik, Emily has no intention of befriending the gruff townsfolk, nor does she care to spend time with another new arrival, her dashing and insufferably handsome academic rival, Wendell Bambleby. Wendell Bambleby. What a name. But as Emily gets closer to uncovering the secrets of the hidden ones, the most elusive of all fairies, she also finds herself on the trail of another mystery. Who is Wendell Bambleby? I feel ridiculous saying that name. I'm sorry. And what does he really want? To find the answer, she'll have to unlock the greatest mystery of all, her own heart. It is a very beautiful book, to be fair. I will be gutted to get rid of it if I don't like it, which I am anticipating. Maybe it's because I'm going into some of these thinking that I'm not going to like them, that I then am surprised by them. For example, Cruel Illusions. I 100% assumed I would be on haul in that book today. Apparently not. But I am fully aware that the writing style in this is not Heather Fawcett's usual writing style because of something that Jade has told me. So, interesting. Okay, so the first chapter is 8 pages long. Also, if it turns out very early on, just should have said this at the beginning, but if it turns out very early on that I can tell I'm not going to like the writing style, I am giving myself a free pass not to continue reading the chapter if I don't want to. So only because I know the writing style is not going to be one that I like in here. I'm fairly certain anyway. So let's do this. 4 pages. I don't even think I managed 4 pages, to be honest. What? No, I managed 3. 3 pages. It started off well. Shadow is not at all happy with me. I like this. Involve the dog. Yes, 100%. He lies by the fire while the chill wind rattles the door, tail inert, staring out from beneath that shaggy forelock of his with the sort of accusatory resignation peculiar to dogs, as if to say, of all the stupid adventures you drag me on, this will surely be the death of us. I fear I have to agree, though this makes me no less eager to begin my research. I loved the bit with the dog giving her accusatory glance, but the build up to that, no. I don't like the writing style in this. It is very Shakespearean, if you like. Herein, I intend to provide an honest account of my day-to-day activities in this field. It's very much one must do this and one must not do that, and she's literally just told us that she's managed to get to her cottage, to the place where she's going to, and there is a sheep inside. It was not only unlocked but contained no lock at all, and when I pushed it open I found a sheep. It stared at me a moment, chewing at something, then sauntered off to rejoin its fellows as I politely held the door. Shadow gave a huff, but was otherwise unmoved. He's seen plenty of sheep in our rambles in the countryside around Cambridge, and looks upon them with the gentlemanly disinterest of an ageing dog. She's already told us that he's pretty much aging. He's blind in one eye, and he gets a little bit huffy if she leaves him at home with her brother. So it's a no from me. I'm afraid it's not going to work out. Next, we have This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. There's no dust jacket on this, so, oh, look at that. I didn't know if there was going to be a synopsis on the back of the book or not. So, this one is Clashing Empires, Forbidden Romance, and a long-forgotten queen destined to save her people. I love clashing empires and forbidden romance. To all the world, Alizé is a disposable servant, not the long-lost heir to an ancient Jin kingdom, forced to hide in plain sight. Jin? Nice. The Crown Prince Cameron has heard the prophecies foretelling the death of his king, but he could never have imagined that the servant girl with the strange eyes, the girl he can't put out of his mind, would one day soon uproot his kingdom and the world. Okay, this is a chunky boy, so I'm anticipating a long chapter here, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not too happy about. I did love the Shatter Me series from Tahira Mafi. I haven't read them all. I'm still partway through the series, but I've loved it so far. So, I am intrigued to know if I will enjoy this one too. Oh, okay, 10 pages, that's not too bad. And the writing is mahoosive. So, let's get to it, shall we? Alright, it's literally been a couple of minutes. What's going on here? Am I going mad? Anyone who's read this, can you tell me, am I insane? Or does some of this rhyme? I feel like I'm going insane. There's a little bit in the beginning of the book that's like a poem. It rhymes. So I thought it was just my brain in rhyming mode. And then I noticed on page 4, first of all, I noticed on page 2 and 3 that down here at the bottom, the word bean, I don't know if you can see this, the word bean has been cut off. There we go. So big mistake. But also, like, for example, this gown, like all the others, was far from beautiful. She thought the design trite, the construction only passably good. She dreamed of unleashing her mind, of freeing her hands to create without hesitation. But the roar of Alize's imagination was quieted, always, by an unfortunate need for self-preservation. Hesitation, imagination, self-preservation, all in one sentence. Am I insane or what? There's been more. I've reread lines. Listen, I got to the bottom of page 4, I couldn't do it anymore. Now I'm doing it. I got to the bottom of page 4, I couldn't do it anymore. To hear on my feet, no. I thought I was going insane. I can't do it. It's going. I'm really sorry, this Woven Kingdom. You're very pretty, but you've got to go. That needs to go back in there. Next, second to last book. We're doing really well. I'm going to stay up and finish these. So we've got The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. I've heard very mixed things about this, but I'm intrigued nonetheless. Hidden across England and Scotland live 6 old book-eater families. The last of their lines, they exist on the fringes of society and subsist on a diet of stories and legends. Children are rare and their numbers have dwindled, so when Devon Fairweather's second child is born a dreaded mind-eater, a perversion of her own kind who consume not stories but the minds and souls of humans, she flees before he can be turned into a weapon for the family, or worse. Living among the humans and finding prey for her son, Devon seeks a cure for his hunger, but time is running out, for her family wants her back, and with every soul her son consumes, he loses a little more of himself. This is a story of escape, a mother's savage devotion, and a queer love that will electrify readers looking for something beguiling, thrilling, strange, and new. Intrigued. Oh my god, the writing is so small in here. 8 pages from page 3. Okay, 5 pages, but the writing is teeny tiny in here. Okay, let's go. Okay, intrigued for sure. This immediately goes in with present day. I assume we're going to go into the past because chapter 2 is 22 years earlier. I think it's that long anyway. 22 years ago. So I assume what's going to happen is we're going to follow Devon right now with her son Kai, and then we're going to follow Devon becoming a book-eater herself. I think that's what's going to happen anyway. So we start off in present day following Devon straight away. To be honest, I knew I was going to enjoy this because of how it started. These days Devon only bought 3 things from the shops: books, booze and sensitive skincare cream. So yeah, I'm here for this one. We follow her going through that ritual, being ID'd and then going home empty-handed. The skincare is for her son Kai, who's got eczema. The booze is for her. The books is for her to consume. However, she didn't need the books. She's got plenty at home. So she goes home. Kai's locked in his room. And I don't 100% know what's going on with him just yet, other than what's in the synopsis. But I don't want to say any more than that because I mean it's in the first chapter, but I feel like it's still a spoiler. But I'm very intrigued to see how this goes, especially for such a short book as well. Intrigued. It's staying. I think that this one could go here, actually. Very intrigued for that one. Nice. Okay, last book. I can't believe I've done this in a night. I honestly thought this was going to take me a couple of days. God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I know Jade's also read this one. She gave it 3 stars, I think. You are not welcome here, God Killer. Kissen's family were killed by zealots of a fire god. Now she makes a living killing gods and enjoys it. That is until she finds a god she cannot kill. Skedi, a god of white lies, has somehow bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from unknown assassins. Joined by a disillusioned knight on a secret quest, they must travel to the ruined city of Blenradun, where the last of the wild gods reside, to each beg a favour. Pursued by demons and in the midst of burgeoning civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of the kingdom, and only they can be the ones to stop it. Dun, dun, dun. Wow, the author's note for this is very, very long. Intrigued. This book is very beautiful as well, so I'd be really sad to see this one go. Ooh, that map's pretty. I've already done a close-up. How many? Oh, it's a prologue. Interesting. 6 pages for the prologue. Let's do the last book, shall we? Okay. Okay. Ole! Okay, I wasn't sure where I was going to lean with this one, I'm not going to lie. It's such a beautiful book. I think I'm going to keep it. We start off following Kissen and her family. The first line of this book is, her father fell in love with a god of the sea. I have no idea how to pronounce this god's name. I've tried to Google it and it's not a word, so Google doesn't know either. But it's Osidisen. Osidisen. I've got absolutely no idea, but he's the god of the sea. And her father fell in love with him. So their family was taken care of very nicely by this god. And then a god of fire came in and started causing havoc in the village. And she then demanded the death of this family to hurt the god of the sea. So the villagers came together and basically came up with this plan to try and kill the family. Now, Kissen managed to get out, just about, with her father's help, but the rest of her family was killed, her mother and her 3 brothers. And then her father asked the god of the water, his lover, basically to take his life for protection of Kissen. So now I assume that the god of water looks after Kissen, because she was only 11 when this happened. She was only young. I don't know what's going to happen next. Well, she's a god killer. She's going to go around killing gods, and I assume she wants vengeance on the fire god. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I am intrigued enough, to be honest. I would need the audiobook for this though, because in fact it would be interesting to know how you pronounce that name, because the audiobook narrator would know, apparently. So I would need the audiobook for this one 100%. I would probably do the audiobook for all of these because they're fantasy, but there are a couple of these that I could read without the audiobook. For example, Spells for Forgetting I could totally do without the audiobook, and potentially Cruel Illusions as well. But yeah, I tend to do fantasy with an audiobook because otherwise it takes me 10 times as long, because when I trip over a word, I will pronounce it over and over and over in my head until I think it's right, and I'll do that every single time I fall over the word, come across the word. So anyway, so I'm keeping that one as well. So out of the 8 books, I am only getting rid of 2, but it gets 2 off of my shelves, plus the one that I've already DNF'd today because of, I picked it up for Polathon. This is going to show now when I filmed this video, because I'm partway through Polathon. And this video probably won't go up till March, but it's filmed now. So if you know, I'm late with another video, this can go up instead. We'll see what happens. So it's essentially 3 books off of my shelves, but 2 as far as this video is concerned. We've got The Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. So I am sad to see them go, especially this one, because it is super duper pretty, but it is what it is. And then we do have The Survivors. This isn't the right way round. I've been stacking these the wrong way. So better. In order of intrigue of the ones that I am most likely to pick up, like urgently, to be perfectly honest, because I would really like to read some of these very, very soon. We've got Spells for Forgetting by Adrian Young. I'm so intrigued by this book, and I think I would absolutely love it. We've got The Book Eaters by Sonia Dean, which again, surprising, but I'm very intrigued by it. To be honest, when it came in, I was intrigued by the premise alone. So This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed. Cruel Illusions by Margie Fuston. I didn't expect this to be on this list at all, never mind in 4th place. Then we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig and Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. So there is no guarantee that I'm going to like all of these, obviously, but just from the first chapter alone, I'm intrigued enough to want to keep them and give them at least a chance. So yeah, I'm happy I did this. This was such a good time, and it is currently, if you wanted a time check, it's currently 22:12, an hour since the last time I did a time check. So I think I've done all right with that, actually, to be honest, because I think I started this video around about 20 to 9-ish, so not too bad. But yeah, this was a very this was so random. Like, I was not prepared for this at all. It was just a random video. I'm intrigued to see how it comes out and how you guys like it. Last time I did a try chapter tag was also with some special edition books, and it went really well. I actually ended up keeping most of those as well. But yeah, and I think I've only actually read one of those since. Maybe. I can't remember what was on that list, to be honest. I think Daughter of the Moon Goddess was definitely on it because I've read that one. 6 Crimson Cranes, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. And did I do 4? It was either Only a Monster or These Hollow Vows that I did as well. Oh no, was Little Thieves on there? I don't bloody remember, but I'll link it up here if I remember to do so, which I've just reminded editing me to do so, so I should remember to do so. I'm a mess, I apologise, but chat to me in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? Do you think I'm making a mistake with this Woven Kingdom and or Emily Wilde's? I don't, just based off of the first chapter. Talk to me about this. Has anybody read this? Am I dumb? Or is this, you know, almost like poetry? Does it rhyme? Because somebody needs to settle my brain, because honestly, I feel like I'm malfunctioning. I picked up 2 books since this one, so maybe not, because I didn't read them as if they were rhyming. Maybe this does actually rhyme, but I feel like my brain was entirely malfunctioning. I don't know if it was the poem in the beginning that did it to me, or if the writing is actually written that way. I don't know, chat to me about it. But talk to me in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? Do you think I should prioritise some over others? Would you like to see me do this again? Because there are other books that I could do this with on my special edition shelves. Or is there a round you would like to see with a different genre, for example? I read all kinds of genres: sci-fi, thriller, horror, romance, fantasy. So obviously this was a fantasy edition. But chat to me in the comments down below. I've managed to get 2 books off, well 3 if you include the one that I'm getting rid of from Polathon. So I think I would say that this has been a success. Not only that, but it's made me excited for these books as well, and I do want to prioritise them now, to the point that I am thinking about just for March and April's Patreon pick, I'm actually just thinking about, rather than letting them pick the genre and then the book, I'm thinking about picking the genre myself and making it fantasy, and then letting them pick between. It's a good idea, letting them pick between these. So yeah, I might do that, and then I can get through one of these pretty quick at least. So chat to me in the comments down below. I hope you have enjoyed, and I shall see you in whatever video comes next. Bye for now.